Sammich. Already done all the normal type raids. Actually, no. What else is there to do? Dark? There's a couple ghost raids. There's only like 2 dark raids. There's a reasonable number of ghost raids. Wrong button. Sammich! 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 Make me a sandwich! I'm out of pepper. Need to run and grab some of that from the store. Raid Power Ghost. We'll do an open-faced one of these. Oh, is it just the sausage and the lettuce? It's all in the condiments, huh? Looks like I don't think I'll need open face after all, because the top bun will sit just fine. Bling! Ba-ba-bling! We're doing raids tonight. We're doing raids and sandwiches for those raids. Good sandwich. Alright. So we now have Ghost, Great, level 2. We're gonna head in that general direction. Oopsie doopsie. And get this bad boy hooked up to the internet. Bring Chen Pao into the fight. Doogie! Done. I said, and done! I will let the doggy get away, because I already have one. There's another ghost. I don't put Jim Pow in my party. I'm spitting all over the place. Urania can go back in here. Yeah, no, I can solo this. Excuse me. I had a meatball sub for dinner, and it's coming back at me more than I would like. I should be fine now. That one? No, that's dark. We'll go to that one next. Bah! I just saw a cute picture of a cat named Salami. Beep. Not a whole lot of 5 stars. Granted, I do go type by type instead of, type by type in... Oh god, that cute fucking cat. God damn. Type by type instead of just seeing what's around. I like using raid powers. You know, I think when I first started, I was a little hard on this particular track because I was so used to the sheer epic, climactic intensity of the Dynamax battle theme. This is good in its own right, for its own reasons. It's like the shonen anime victory lap. It's great. I am literally only in it for the items they drop, not the actual Pokemon. I still think it's kind of a crock of shit that Pokemon makes you catch... It makes you catch a new team every generation to participate in VGC. I think that's kind of dumb. I should be able to participate in full... in full-on official competitive tournaments with Pokemon I caught in Emerald. Hello, Magolor Memes. Hello, Mochi. Hi, Dietrich. Welcome to the stream. Blech. We're doing raids. Maybe... Well, the shiny bits... The sandwiches last for like 30 minutes, so... Raids are a little more interesting to watch than me running around and knocking out the same guy over and over. I'll probably give several more experienced hunters conniptions by not, by not saving and resetting to protect my herbs. My pantry of rare ingredients. So I'm doing raids instead. Because this is how I replenish my herbs. Ooh, finally! A nice, big 5-star raid. It's one of the best tracks in the game. This is just one of several different arrangements, but I really like this tune. Battle version of it is also very good. Now that chat's here, I can take y'all's input on sandwiches. Which is delightful. So if y'all want me to make just the most disgusting sandwiches, let me know. And if we get, and I'll like use the powers. I once tried another Iron Thorns shiny hunt the other day, but instead of getting an Iron Thorns, I got a Raichu. Which, fine. Cool that I got a shiny Raichu, but I did want a shiny Iron Thorns. To be fair, I did have, it was, what was it? Encounter and Sparkling Power Electric. So I had my pick of Iron Hands, Iron Thorns, and Raichu. Because they were spawning like crazy, but I might try a Rock-type sandwich next. A Rock-type shiny hunt sandwich for Iron Thorns, just to, like, hyper-focus in on that one species, because I don't think there are a whole lot of Rock-types in the area other than Iron Thorns. Whereas there are a handful of different electric types to pick from. I actually caught a cool Raichu that was giving me trouble because it had Lightning Rod, but its Terra type was flying. But now that I've caught this shiny Raichu, I think I might just spec it up to match. Because shiny bragging rights are always nice. And then I can surprise trade off the Raichu it's based on How many shinies do I have so far? Annihilate, Honchkrow, Talonflame, Raichu. I think it's those 4, mainly. I also haven't been, like, putting a whole lot of thought, because, like, I've been doing more raiding grinds than I have been doing actual shiny hunt stuff, because that tends to be a little slower and less interesting than actually raiding to get the materials. Sorry you haven't been around much. That's fine, don't worry about it. I'm about to not be around much, so... Well, comparatively speaking, I have a thing I want to do, and, I posted a big ol' announcement in my community tab, and I mentioned something cool I want to do this spring for the channel, but I'm keeping it a secret, and I'm gonna stop actively streaming stuff on Monday and make them VIP only. So and those will be work in progress streams for the content that I would like. I'd like to put out an announcement trailer, but I want it to be fancy because I'm over ambitious all the time. Ow! Jerkweed? Oh, he probably knows power. No, he just got me after grinding me down. That was my first KO, though. Usually Chien-Pao is a lot more fragile than that. But, yeah. I also dropped the price of VIP memberships, and that is permanent. All current VIP members are now... It should be! It should apply to the existing VIP members. I dropped it from $5 a month to $3, because I don't feel like I'm doing enough to justify that price. And also, I don't think I didn't actually want to charge that much for it in the first place. So thank you to those who stuck around early on. Enjoy the reduced cost going forward. And I will be VIP streaming on Mondays until March, and other such things. Doing some more low-key shit on Fridays. I have some household shenanigans going on that requires some movement of the objects, including my streaming gear. So that will make streaming some things a little more difficult, so I think I'm gonna shift away from streaming console games until I am once again settled, after the household things have been completed. It's carpets. We're doing carpets. Fun. So, an Eggman... I did do an Eggman announcement. He came out as non-binary somewhere, like, at the beginning of the pandemic, and that's how I did it, with the Eggman announcement. I don't think that format is conducive to announcing what I want to announce. It would be very funny, but I don't know how to incorporate the bitch-ass motherfucker narrative into it overall. And also, I'm kind of very attached to my idea, so that's fun. I have a vision already, and I'm too ambitious for my own good. So, yeah! That's gonna be fun. I love putting myself up to projects with short deadlines that I have... that I've been procrastinating on my own goals that I set for myself. You know what would be really funny? If Wug Trio had 3 crowns, 1 for each head. But no, he's just got the one. Oh, it's so little! It's so tiny! Oh, that's good. That's good. I should have noticed it before. I think I've fought Terra Raid Wug Trios before, but this is the only time I've properly noticed how goofy its tiny little hat is. Yep. Once you get powerful enough, certain raids are just one and done. Which is why I get mildly annoyed when people look for... I mean, I guess I can't get too annoyed because those people probably just haven't beaten the game yet. But there are people putting up, like, asking for multiplayer help for, 4-star and under raids. And... God, like, once again, this game's poor performance and optimization has come back to bite it in the ass. Because when I go looking for raids to join, 9 times out of 10, when I pick something from the corkboard, the menu of postings, it like takes, every time it takes a solid 20-ish, maybe 10 to 20 seconds to load. And it always takes 10 to 20 seconds to load, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna tell me, oh, you can't join. So it takes me upwards of 3 minutes just to join a raid, and then sometimes they get abandoned, and that's really frustrating. And, like, one of the only ways to guarantee that you'll get into a raid is by joining random. But random doesn't let you filter, what kind of raids you want to join. So I can't go say, oh, I only want to join raids of this star level or higher. And that's just a pain in the ass. That'd be a cool feature they could include in an update. Let us, one filter are stars. Let us pick the minimum star level we want when we click random. And also, maybe pick a minimum level when you're seeking randos to join you, so their Pokemon can only be so strong before they can join. Think the guys in NASA are out playing Pokemon on their supercomputers? I do not! I think they're doing their jobs and then going home, and then some of them are playing Pokemon on their Switches. Like, there's probably some kind of rule against using, like, you can't, it's generally poor practice to use work machines for too much personal stuff. And I imagine the federal government would bonk you for pirating Pokemon on a government supercomputer. Let alone Nintendo, but I think because it would be that kind of situation, you have more eyes on what's happening inside of that machine. Those things are managed, you know? There's always some kind of admin who can always see what's going on inside the machine. They watching you, 'cause it's your work computer. There's the last ghost fight. Ghostbusters! Military once couldn't get a supercomputer, so they linked together a bajillion PS4s, and it ran better than a supercomputer? I'm gonna have to double-check the sauce on that, but that would be really funny if that were true. I wouldn't be surprised, though, because, graphical calculation is... One graphical calculation... like, a strong GPU can do they're workhorses. They can do a lot of computing stuff. It's why crypto miners bought all of them and spiked the market, because it's good for solving those hash problems. That's what GPUs are good at, because rendering graphics, and especially, like, real-time simulations of light and shit, is it's a lot of math. It's a ton of math. Also, another reason I would... like, I wouldn't discount that story completely is because, you know how federal funding gets. Like, people talk all the time about America's crumbling infrastructure. Like, we're not always good at public spending where it counts. So I wouldn't be surprised if a government supercomputer wasn't actually as super as the price tag or its, designers would, imply it to be. Date on this. Weird science chapter in PlayStation's history. Huh. Okay. So I did find an article that said it wasn't a military, it was a research installation. The military story might be true, but, there's an article on The Verge that said, no, it's PlayStation 3's and they used it to study astrophysics. Yeah, that's, yeah, close enough. I wouldn't be surprised if your story was true by proxy, or was a telephoned version of the one that I just found. So, neat! Gaming consoles are pretty beefy, especially the more modern the gen, the better. Graphics computation is very complicated, and can be used to solve a lot of math, and just do a lot of computer thinking. And when you put a bunch of them together, they get really smart. They can do supercomputer-y shit. Which, not entirely surprised. You link together enough of any computer and it becomes a supercomputer. So I can imagine getting some pretty good mileage out of 100 or so PS4s. God, imagine how many... I wonder how many PS5s it would take to reach the same level of computational power. That's an interesting thought experiment, huh? Been a long time since you heard the story. The article I found was from 2019, so that's about... I mean, it said December 2019, so that's about 3 years. Roughly 3 years from now. 3 years ago. Not into the future, into the past. What did I want? Raid Power Dark? Okay, chat. No, wait, shit. I don't have any pepper. Hold up. We gotta go shopping. BRB. But, chat, I want to ask you, would you like me to pop into sandwich creative mode and take your input on sandwich ingredients? Because I think that could be a fun little gimmick. Yeah. I like this little ceramic Magikarp tile. You have irons, nest balls, leopard feathers. The auctions are usually a waste of time. I got my picks. That's a... I need ingredients, not picks. I'll grab another 10 cream cheese just to be safe. I seem to be burning through those at a... Ah, yes, pepper! Gimme, gimme, gimme! Ooh, only 6 left of mustard. I'll grab some more onions. Grocery shopping. Inside of Pokémon. I have more money than God, so I'll be fine. I could just buy whatever I need. That's a whole sandwich. I know there should be a delicioso on this side of the market. And you're sure cans. So I want to see what you guys got. I got a ton of bananas because I use them for the Egg Power 2 sandwiches that I make sometimes when I breed. I'll grab some more tomatoes. Some tomatoes. Tomatoes. Pickles are important for shiny hunting. Pickles and cucumbers, actually, so I'm gonna buy a ton. Okay, apples. Maybe I want an apple sliced like that. Jalapeno. Pineapple. I'm gonna grab another one of those. Noodles. Yeah, you have there, and this should be the delicioso. Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you. Egg. Yellow bell peppers. I'm going through those a lot because I've been making the, my shiny electric sandwiches with them. I only have 2 green bell peppers left. I need the chili sauce. I need chili sauce. Vinegar. Do they have meat in Pokemon? Yeah, they have smoked filet, they got hamburger. They had hamburger meat in Sword and Shield to put in your curry, too. There are Pokedex entries of several Pokemon that say they are tasty. Usually fish. And sometimes crabs. Which Pokemon are they making the meat out of? I'm assuming the hamburger is Tauros, because there's a lot of those in Paldea. They're everywhere. There's a cloth stick, but it's not actually cloth meat. It's imitation crab made out of, like, an extract taken from cloth shells, which is interesting because that means... And I think they, like, shed their shells naturally. But, like, the ham and the prosciutto and the pork stuff, probably Lechonk. It is a pig. The Lechon part of his name references I think it means pork in Spanish, or it references a type of pork dish. But a couple things mentioned, like, I know Basculin has an entry about how it tastes good. Veluza's whole shtick is that it jettisons pieces of itself to go faster. So, ironically, cruelty-free meat. You don't have to kill a Veluza to eat Veluza. What else? No milk comes from Miltank. They just share it with whoever. See, like, look at them. They're everywhere. They spawn in, like, groups of 7. There's so many of them. Okay, picnic. Every Pokemon is as smart as a person, so that makes cooking weird. It does! But I think the people of this world are just used to it. Alright, creative mode. Chat, give me suggestions. Yep, see, it's a nutritious processed food made with concentrate derived from shed cloth shells. Although there is a dish in another town that's just a whole entire cloth claw, and I'm not sure if cloth shed their claws like Pokemon like Clauncher and Crabrawler do. So I know Crabrawler drop their claws and you can eat those, but I'm not sure if cloth do, so you might just fish up a crab and kill it and eat it. Except you don't need to fish it up because it's a terrestrial crab. It's a crab! Chat, ideas. Food. It's sandwich time. Egg and tofu? Egg and tofu. Alright. Tofu, egg. Do we want anything else? We can double up on stuff too, so feel free to bother me for ideas. Or we could just do egg and tofu. So, egg, tofu, rice would be good with that, maybe. Noodles and rice. Egg and tofu is a serviceable combination, but I feel like a veggie might make it a little fresher. You can't go wrong with lettuce. Lettuce is basic as shit. It's a basic bitch veggie ingredient, but I like it in sandwiches and stuff because it makes things crunchy, but it tastes like a whole lot of nothing. It like, where's everyone else? My concurrent viewers dropped down to two people. And it's possible that the other viewers, so you and the other viewer, and also sometimes the concurrent viewers aren't always consistent. Sometimes people can show up and not add to that number. So someone might have dipped, and someone might just be listening. That's fine. Let's do egg, tofu, and lettuce. Okay. Ideas for condiments. We got a lot. Got everything from mayonnaise to wasabi. And, of course, Vierba Mystica. Egg and tofu. Oh, there's a little Scovillain on the front of the chili sauce. That's cute. Yep. Thanks to Scovillain that the sauce gets the signature mouth-tingling burn. What kind of condiment would go? I feel like trying to make a sandwich that will give people food poisoning. I only use the fresh. I think food poisoning is only relevant when like the ingredients have gone bad. If you make shit out of fresh ingredients, no matter how gross it is, it's still gonna be, I guess, edible. Unless some weird fucking chemistry happens and it turns it into actual poison. But, wasabi curry powder. Dump a bunch of chili sauce and then add whipped cream. Dump chili sauce, add whipped cream. Let's go! Let's do a red flag pick. Because there are red flags all over this recipe. I fucked up an ultra tofu sandwich earlier today, and I am never putting lettuce on underneath the tofu ever again because the tofu is flat and stacks too well not to. The eggs might not sit well on top of the lettuce. Sammich. It's more of like a salad with a slice of bread underneath it, but it also has wasabi in it. No, it's chili sauce. But it's just... I can't imagine that tasting that bad, actually. The whipped cream might be weird, but I think that, like, hint of sweetness might not be so bad. Raid power? Grass! Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'll do some grass raids. Why not? Speaking of which, it's right there. Let's go. Off to the races we go. The spice will kill your taste buds enough to be able to eat it. Okay, icicle crash. One shot! One shot! Let's go! Raid gives you, it gives you one more item per raid of that type per level. So level 1 gives you one extra item. Level 2 gives you 2 extras. Level 3 gives you 3. Level 3 is too much of a pain in the ass to even attempt getting, so... How many? Are there not that many grass raids on the map today? Oh, there's one. Right by my house. Hi. Welcome to the stream. What do you mean my audio bitrate? What are you talking about, YouTube? Yeah, excellent connect. Wah, 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 wah. Wah. What if you only put spice on the sandwich? Just dump 7 bottles of spice on a piece of bread. One time, off stream, I put, it was like a stack of 5 apples and nothing else. And if the game considered it bad. Like, it made musical cues and such that was like, ew, gross, and it was like a 1 star. No, I don't have it on my machine. I moved my Switch pictures to my computer. Actually, speaking of moving Switch pictures, my computer. But, if everything is all the same taste and there is no balance, I think the game freaks out and tells you it's bad or something. Apple sandwich. Yeah, you'd think it'd be fine, because eating a whole stack of thinly sliced apples like that sounds like the dream to me. Because you're just eating apples. It's like biting into an apple, with maybe some bread in it. You could eat it off the bread. But also, game told me it was bad, I guess. Which, fair, I suppose. It was supposed to be a sandwich, but who the hell puts apple slices on sandwiches anyway? Apple slices are for just eating with your hands. Or salads. Or salads. Like, the idea of a sweet sandwich that's anything other than PB&J kind of breaks my brain a little bit. Well, I do like PB&J, and that's a sweet sandwich. And you can put bananas on those, so that does make some sense, I guess. And it's just eating an apple with extra steps. That's literally what it is. Maybe that's what the game was trying to tell me. Just eat a goddamn apple. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Grass, grass, grass. Grass. Oh, there's a grass one right there. I see the gears turning in your brain. I will get back to you after one more grass raid. Yeah, but ice cream sandwiches aren't on bread. Yeah, they're on cookies. And it's just called a sandwich because it's a thing between 2 other things. But, like, this is just on, like, a slice of baguette. Which is the weird part. Because you can do, and it's not, like, chocolate and stuff. It's more fruit. And I guess that makes a little more sense, but it's still kind of... It's a little bit alien to me. Just a bit. Putting bananas... If it involves peanut butter, I get it. But, like, once you get into, like, apple and pineapple territory and kiwis and shit, that's just a little bit, like... I would rather eat that in a fruit salad or a fruit cup, or just, like, mixed fruit, than I would on a slice of Italian bread or something. Kind of with waffles, too. Well, see, but, like, waffles are, like, more in the sweet family of bread, I feel like. That said, this is a game about Spain made by a Japanese company. Maybe the bread is unsalted. Because there was one time, a long time ago, I went to Italy with some family. And the bread, one of the things about the bread there is that it's unsalted, so it tastes a little different. It tastes a little blander. And because of that, that's why you eat it with, like, such strong, salty flavors like prosciutto and various cheeses. Because, in my opinion, I like the Western, like, American salted varieties of bread because they were nice to eat on their own, whereas that unsalted variety I had in Italy was not, like, it's not really something you would eat on your own, but it's not meant to be. Like, it felt more correct to put stuff on it. So maybe this is that variety of bread, and because it's an unsalted slice of bread, like an unsalted loaf, it's less immediately strange to put sweet stuff on it. Well, yeah, it's also Portugal. I forgot about... I'm sorry, Portugal. Portugal is this side of the map with Cortando and Cascarafa, and... Medali kind of dips back into Spain-ish, but, like, this isn't a super accurate map. Like, no Pokemon region is one-to-one with the geography of its real-world counterpart. Like, for example, Spain, like, this is very, like, square. It's very round. Whereas Spain has, like, a big jaggy, like, way up here into the mountains. Like, the borders of Spain go up here a little further. And, this coast of the country is a little more diagonal. But yeah, Porto Marinada, Cascarafa, Cortando, this is the general, and I guess you could say Alfarnada, too. Although Alfarnada feels like it leans harder into, like, influence of, like, both of, like, local Spain influence, Spanish and Portugal influence, but, south of that, that's Africa. That's Morocco and shit. Where was I going? But are Urban Mysticer and EXP candies ready for the Blissey Gengar moves in Palafin? I mean, I've gotten good Urban Mystica luck on any old, Pokemon stuff. Like, I've gotten stuff from, like, Kilowattrel, for example. Although this does track. I've gotten a lot of good Urban Mystica luck with Dondozo raids, so that does track with my experience. Have I gotten... I don't think I've ever fought a Blissey raid before. I've either gotten kicked out or failed to connect before I could get in, and I've just never found one on my own map. Red juice from the apples made the... This juice from the apples made the bread soggy! Maybe it did! I think it's just, like, the game doesn't like it when you do too much flavors. Too much of one flavor. So how about we do too much of one flavor? You did ask, what would it... Wait, hang on. I'm gonna scroll back. What happens if you only put spice in a sandwich? Just dump 7 bottles of spice on a piece of bread. Let's find out, shall we? There are fire raids around, so if I get raid power... The chili sauce is good for raid power, too. I found a sandwich calculator the other day that someone had posted to Reddit. So if it's all spice, I don't want to put too much in the way of, like, actual stuff on there. There's chorizo. So what if I just do all... Red onion's kind of spicy. What do you mean some sweetness? Okay, yeah, it's spiciness and fragrance are modeled in the... Yeah. Onion is... Why are you below the thing? Come on. Okay, no, you were just loading in funny. What if all just a bunch of spice? And we're gonna do chili sauce there? No. Chili sauce, wasabi, horseradish, curry powder. Oh, this is gonna be horrible. My Pokemon are gonna fucking hate me. And so is my player character. Ah, spicy! Feel the burn! This isn't a piece of food. It's a sinus clearing medication. It also helps clear out your sweat glands. I haven't even put on that many, and they're already falling all over each other. Beep bop, beep boop bop, beep bop, beep bop bop, beep. Ah! I figured that would happen. Ooh, that one just barely hung on. This would cause lower level Pokemon to faint. Bathroom massacre. See, that's the reaction when you put too much of the same flavor on something. You get 1 star, your party freaks out, it gives you stink lines, and I don't think it gives you any powers. It, like, gives you a penalty. It gives you a penalty, and you get no powers for it. So what if we made something that actually tasted good, but was still spicy? Alright. So. Cheese. Cheese, you cannot go wrong with cheese. We're gonna put the jalapeno back in, but we're gonna balance it out with some other flavors. Jalapeno, what goes with spicy? Onion, I guess. Cherry tomatoes are, like, a little bit sweet. Bell peppers? Maybe not bell peppers. Avocado, I think, would be a good balancing factor. Bacon. Hamburger? Are we making a spicy burger? Oh, we're making a burger! Hamburger. I'm gonna lay off the... Ooh. People put horseradish on burgers, right? But we're gonna balance that out. Marmalade. Oilier foods. Hamburger's pretty oily, right? I'm not sure how I feel about putting marmalade. Salt and pepper, pretty basic. Chili sauce. Horseradishes are spicy. Butter. Absolute. You know what? It's a fucking burger. Ketchup and mustard. I'm gonna gold pick this. Flexing on me with all your Herba Mystica. Yeah, I hoard that shit. I do a ton of raids and then I never use my herbs. Burger. Have burger one side and bacon on the other. Go put bacon on this end. This is like not real bacon. This is like 4 times, like it's as thick as the burger. Bacon is supposed to be like thin little strips. Got cheese. Cheese is important there. Ah. Cheeseburger. Put some avocado. You get an avocado. You get an avocado. You get an avocado. Jalapeno. Go put one on top of the burger, of course. And the cherry tomatoes, which can go over here. I guess one will fit on top. No! My masterpiece! I know I don't need the top bun, but I like trying to... I don't understand why the game is coded to make the bun bounce. When you place a bun on a big towering sandwich like that, it, like, You hold it down to put the pick through. You don't just flop it on there. That's redwood, not bacon. Salty. Much better, much better. Wonder what species that comes from. The bacon or the hamburger? Because I think it might have been before you showed up. Raid power grass again. I don't have any grass raids left. Like, cool, great, I guess. EXP point power steel. Encounter power rock. Hello, internet. Before you, it might have been before you showed up, but we were talking about meat in the Pokemon universe, and I suggested that the hamburgers probably come from Tauros, because they're all over the region. Grass. Green grass, eat my ass. What? Normal type. Fuck it. I'm going to go to a normal type raid, even though my raid power is for grass. A little phlegmy tonight. Sorry about that. Going to switch to my lad. These hands! Might be risky, bringing it up against a psychic type with a normal terror type move, but I'm gonna risk it. Is it possible to put 0 things in the sandwich and just have 2 pieces of bread? Oh, I gotta try that! Who knows? I doubt it. I doubt it'll let me, but I gotta try it. I gotta try it after this raid. Charizard! Hello! His name is Jonathan. That'd be cool if he did the thing and clicked confirm and started the raid with us. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the most you can do with a sandwich in this game is you have to put at least 1 condiment on it. Maybe one of each, 1 ingredient, 1 topping, and 1 condiment, but we'll see. Butter sandwich. Let's roll. Ooh, Thunderbolt. You're not gonna get much mileage with that, Gakuto. Managed to catch these hands. I did! I caught these hands! That's the nice thing about Drain Punch. Oh, I can't. I'm tormented. God damn it. Detect. Why not? You can't touch me. Considering how the backside of its hands are completely smooth, I wouldn't be surprised if Iron Hands just couldn't, like, flex its hands. Like, they're just permanently splayed out like that, and they're just solid chunks. Ba-da-da-da. At the same time. My attack is back to normal. Let's fix that, shall we? And Iron Hands is pretty tanky, so Belly Drum is a little more viable than it otherwise would be. Because it can take a lot of hits before going down. And Drain Punch helps me fix that! That's more like it. If I had one of my Brick Breakers out and about, that would be easier to deal with. They're adding a new sand ability. Yeah, Saint Kirby is in the Return to Dreamland remake. It's neat. It's an interesting addition for a remake. I mean, they might have done it back for Nightmare in Dreamland on the Game Boy Advance. But like a totally new ability? I don't think that's pretty typical. Usually they just add new modes. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Ooh, a Donozo fight. Don't mind if I yes. Give, please. Oh, that person's avatar is a shiny Larvesta. Cute. That person's avatar is a sleepy Miraidon. That's also cute. And of course, very cute illustration of Sprigatito. I think they pulled that from a... electric billboard in Levincia. Now it's up to the host to send us off. Ah, excuse me. Smack the underside of my desk with my controller. Actually, lean back. The brightness of the screen is getting to me. But actually, the brightness of the screen is getting to me. I can turn on another light, can't I? Ah. Da, da, da. Set up. We are all set up. And my citrus berry goes off. No, not the Breloom. What the hell was that? Tickle? Yeah, I was Tickle. Commander Eric, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Drain Punch again. Punch! just keep punching. Ooh, me and this other guy did it at the same time. Oh yeah, my attack. It didn't drop by that much, but ooh, someone's terrestrializing. Oh, it's the guy next to me. Fuck it, I'll terrestrialize. It's gonna be this annoying to beat. A bunch of wide dudes slapping a fish. This is what Digimon wishes it was. It really is a bunch of wide dudes slapping a fish, huh? Let's see if we can slap this fish a little, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We are all sparkled up. Is there enough? Oh no, we didn't make it. We fainted a few too many times. Ooh, a 6-star for Igarath. Good luck. 6 stars are tough. Let's see if... Why did I... Okay. Keep forgetting that only Miraidon can jump, and I can't. Eep. Yep, 6 stars have good drop rates. Wait a second. Electric, please. You're still dragon, and I wanted to switch you to electric. Where is meat? I may name my word meat. Okay. You already have electric, so you are good. It was Miraidon that I wanted to change. I do! Because I want to make Electro Drift even more busted. Flying. Yeah, that's right. I got Flying Terra Shards, and I wanted to apply it to that shiny Raichu I mentioned. Is that you? No, this is the one I originally caught. This is my original. This is my core squad. Oh yeah, I caught the other Miraidon earlier. On stream, even. I just kind of forgot he was there because I used the one I ride on. Because he's my Miraidon. Where did I put the... Yeah, it's not you. Is it... That's you. Yes, I do. I want a flying shiny Raichu. Hello, Short King. Welcome to the stream. How am I? I'm doing alright. A little bit tired. But I'm always a little bit tired. I feel like that's just a general state of being I exist in. And also, I started later than I would have liked. So that probably contributes to the tired. You wanted to see the shiny Raichu? Yeah. The damn game will load. Where is he? Actually, I could probably stand to put him at a party. We're on a box Chi-Yu for now. And I'm gonna swap this Raichu out with this shiny, so yeah. There he is! He's orange! And I wanted to change his ability to Lightning Rod, but I cannot remember if that's a capsule ability or a patch ability. Lightning Rod might be its hidden ability. It is. Eh, fuck it. I have patches to burn, why not? Did I want to change your nature to... What do you like? Special defense, speed. Actually, your nature is fine. Naive is totally doable. Your IVs must be a little off-kilter, though. Should probably give a little bit of love to your special attack. Genius Feather. What? No, to Raichu. The answer is yes. I want to give all of them. And a Swift measure. A Swift Feather for good measure. Oi! Fuck it, we'll give him some levels, too. Why not? I have them. I have levels to give. Alright! My friend Pokemon Go has 2 shiny Pikachu and 1 Raichu. Neat! Pogo lets you... Probably, it could be Community Day shinies. Community Day is a great day for shinies. I don't play as much Pokemon Go as I used to. Ooh, a flying type raid. Don't mind if I do. I have Chien-Pao out, but I don't particularly want that. So, it is a ground type. I probably might benefit from sticking to Chien-Pao after all. Because ground, I mean, Chien-Pao is very fragile. I don't know. I should take the Raichu into battles to flex on other players. Everyone takes all of their shinies into raids all the time to flex on everyone. I've seen so many. I did some raiding earlier today, and I ran into at least 3 shiny Glamora. I saw a shiny Mudsdale. I have seen more shiny Iron Hands than you can shake a stick at. Just a ton. I think I saw a shiny, Roaring Moon once. That was cool. I've seen lots of shiny Azumarill, because Azumarill is the meta for raids, because of Belly Drum. Anything that can learn Belly Drum is the meta right now for raids. I guess a bunch of players have Battlelore memes in their chat to tell them to use their shiny. Maybe they do. I've brought my Annihilate to a couple raids. He's not always the best guy for the job, though. Oh shit, Rock Slide. That must be why I've been taking so much damage to begin with. Maybe sticking with Miraidon would have been the better shot. Coming at you live with another taco review. And by taco review, I mean Icicle Crash. Man, I could really chew on some ice right now. Should probably go get some. After the stream. I'll be on for... I think I started it's like 7:45, I think I started. Well, I started more like 8, but... I'll keep going for a bit. Yeah, decent. How long are I usually? Okay. We'll see. We'll see! Should probably wheel back my stream starting times again. But we ordered food today, and I didn't want to miss it. I do like ice. I like crushed ice. Like, so you know the setting on some, like, fridge dispensers that have the crushed ice instead of the cubed ice? I prefer the crushed ice because it's easier to get my teeth around. It's crunchy. And it's like... It's just nice. And ice is nice. And... the ice makers have been a little bit futzy lately. So probably would be in their best interest to continue obtaining more ice. Ah! What on earth is that? Is my body once again freaking the fuck out about my dinner? I suppose we'll see sometime down the line. Ooh, a ditto! That's always fun. Let's see if I can get into the raid at all. It's always the worst part about it, how long it takes to connect. Although I think I recall having a harder time actually connecting to shit in Sword and Shield. But at the same time, like, it would at least tell me sooner when I couldn't connect. So I could get frustrated faster and move on with my life faster instead of sitting on my hands until the game decides to respond. Yes, I know it's a 6-star and it has better drop. Doing the Vaporeon would have better item drops, but sometimes 6 stars are less likely for me to be able to join, so I'll just try to join whatever. Like, you click on that stuff and you weren't able to join. And you need to do it twice before you get the option to check for new postings. Is that a ghost type? I'll do a ghost type Revavroom, why not? There we go. Paprika, you're up. Let's go, big guy. Ooh, I patched him too. I gave him unaware, so that's neat. I have a have I patched Cress yet? Have I given him Moxie? I can't remember. He's not very good in raid fights, I imagine he'd be a little more comfortable in PvP. You know, battles against other players. Will not acknowledge the reference to the Vaporeon copy pasta. Will not acknowledge the reference to the Vaporeon copy pasta. Okay, finally it's done loading. There we go, big guy. Apparently, Revavroom's official, like, 2D art doesn't have its tongue sticking out, which I think is a mistake, because the tongue is a very important part of its character. Like, I know it's not in its usual idol, but it's still very important, in my humble opinion. My humble opinion. Also, you can see the bottom of the world. Our camera is partially clipped through the floor right now. It does that. He's beginning. Progress, huh? I guess? Is Revavroom tankier usual? Is that typical? I feel like it's typical. Yeah, my special attack is up. Maybe I should bring it up some more? Everyone's poisoned. A number of people don't have enough health, so let me fix that. Everyone's terrassalizing. Maybe I should too. Yay! I'm not getting much in the way of progress with this damage. Maybe I should just go ahead and join the crystal party. Oh fuck, he's going fast now. He's a Terra Fire type instead, so he'll no longer be resistant to his poison type moves, but I think I'm willing to make that sacrifice if it makes this fight go faster. Imagine how different the battle would go if you could shoot Revavroom with a gun. I think that of all the Pokemon that a gun would give you an advantage against, Revavroom is not one of them. I feel like it would immediately ricochet off its body. Like, I mean, some car chassis, some car exteriors are, flimsy enough to be punctured by bullets. But, like, Revavroom is just the engine. And he's a pretty chunky dude at that. Also, there is a move called Bullet Punch. It's probably not as fast as an actual bullet, but, okay, bye. I don't know. But, it does ooh, an ability patch! Hello! 'Tis my lucky day. Just go for the tires. Revavroom's tires are made of rock, though. Like, that's not gonna do much either. And also, like, swords are a thing. There's an old Sinnoh myth that talks about a guy with a sword who is like, yeah, he just kind of hunted Pokemon without really caring about it. And then there's Chien-Pao, who is literally made of swords. He is swords. Look at him. It is swords. It just has a snow cat attached. But the Pokemon itself is the busted sword. So, like, and the reason Chien-Pao exists, like all the others are like, malice and hatred from years of war and shit, coalesced around these cursed objects to turn into Pokemon. Chien-Pao is specifically the souls and resentment of the people killed by the sword. Well then, a rocket launcher. See, while I do think guns in general probably have been, well, I mean, I guess it is like a game aimed at a general kids audience, and as a result, guns would bump up the ratings so they wouldn't touch them, so that explains why there isn't a, why you don't see them in-game, but, there's also the fact to consider that when you have command of mighty like, if you had a pet dragon that would fight for you, would you ever really need to invent, like, would you need to invest in guns all that much? Because I feel like Pokemon are pretty solid weapons in and of themselves. And also that, to deal with a Pokemon that might be immune to bullets, like, a Pokemon like that would have been better dealt with by another Pokemon. So, like, if you roll up to, I don't know, a fucking Copperajah or an Aggron or some shit, there are so many Pokemon that have, like, solid metal armor. And if it's not metal armor, it's stone, or it's just obscenely thick plating. And if the bullets don't bounce off, they might just get lodged in halfway through and stick. And therefore, the best way to take it down is a Pokemon that with a type advantage. With a type advantage and going for its special or physical weaknesses as they are relevant. Anime says otherwise. I mean, are we talking about the early anime or the later anime? I don't consider the anime part of the same canon as the games. It's kind of its own thing to me. Especially since the anime, the continuity of the anime is based on, like, kind of the brilliant, like, the mad genius of one guy who had a totally different vision of the Pokemon universe, like, right when it came out. Is that a Ghastly? Looks like it could be a Ghastly. And his interpretation of the Pokemon universe was, and also the general interpretation of the Pokemon canon overall back in the 90s was so different from how we view it today. The lore is basically completely changed. And I think Did You Know Gaming did a video on it. There's a Japanese exclusive, like, expanded Pokédex book. And, it was published by Creatures Inc. And, it offers expanded versions of the Pokédex entries from the first games. And so it clarifies the, like, for example, the bit about, a human child turning into a Kadabra one day. That's actually a truncated version of a full entry that said that that's actually a fictional story in universe, and it's a parody of Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a fucked up story, too. It's really sad. But, like, some of that stuff, like, one of the overarching bits of lore from that expanded Pokédex thing was, that Pokemon had only been around on planet Earth for 2 million years, and that they were actually a relatively recent discovery in, like, an alternate Earth kind of history thing. Whereas now, Pokemon, like, it's just a whole entire, instead of an alternate history, it's a whole entire alternate Earth universe where Pokemon have been around from the start, and they're just that world's animals. Let me in! Imagine the government just straight up carpet bombs Team Rocket. I don't think Team Rocket is that kind of threat. Team Rocket is organized crime. They're the mob. And in the anime, they kind of lean more towards into... they lean more towards into, like, terrorist activity. And there's definitely a few, like, median generations where the evil teams lean more terroristy, like Team Aqua, Team Magma, I'd go so far to say Team Plasma. I don't even really know how to describe or look at Team Flare. Like, the story kind of, like, folded in on itself back in Gen 6. So the whole justification for Team Flare's existence doesn't really make sense. The only thing they fully gave thought to, I think, was the whole AZ plotline, and also Lysander's personal motives. I don't think it fully addressed why the entire rest of Team Flare would have bothered to care. Other than Lysander has a vision and he has a select group of people that he will bring with him into his world. And then they started getting weird with it. So Team Skull is a bunch of, like, they definitely, like, they took the gangster idea in a new direction. So instead of like high-class mobsters and, like, truly organized crime, these are just kind of hooligan gangbangers. And they weren't the real, full, true enemies. They were just kind of dispossessed youth. Which, yeah, that tends to be how hooligan gangbangers come into existence. And then that was Gen 7, right? And then Gen 8, you had Team Yell, which was just the gym staff of the Dark-type gym. And since the Dark-type's whole shtick is fighting dirty and, generally being, like, deceitful and obnoxious, Team Yell being the Dark Gym's gym staff, and then, like, trying to sabotage, like, other gym challengers, actually tracks for their gym. Like, that makes sense for the Dark Gym staff to do, as their specific gym challenge is to just be obnoxious across your entire adventure. And now here in Gen 9, we have Team Star, who are once again mistreated youth, but because of the school setting, they decided to lean into, like, a clique of school delinquents and incorporated the whole bullying story into that, and I thought that was pretty cool. I think Team Star was pretty well done, all things considered. It's a little clunky here and there, but the overall concept is neat. So we haven't had a truly evil team in a while. Ether Foundation kind of leans into that, because they're like a bait-and-switch kind of evil team, but they're still a coherent organization. And so because of that, that kind of lets them fill the evil team criteria a little bit better. I definitely understand wanting to push aside the concept of the evil team to make way for different stories. I think they did it to very great effect in this generation, in Scarlet and Violet. Generation 8 story, the core plot of Sword and Shield was not great. It felt slapped together. It felt like they didn't fully address, like, the implications of the events happening, and they kind of kept you out of it, and then there were parts towards the, like, Chairman Rose's, whole deal, like, his motives didn't make a lot of sense. It's just it was hard to get a read on, like, why people were doing what they were doing. And, like, as a result, it felt kind of stupid and rushed. Which is honestly kind of a bummer, because the Rose fight was a pretty cool set piece and had some awesome music. And it was, like, you could tell that what it was trying to go for, but they just didn't get there. Which is a shame. The whole shtick with Eternatus and a corporation exploiting Eternatus for energy purposes is really cool. But to make the chairman of that corporation, like, be this kind of misunderstood, like, he's like an anti-villain, like, he's not doing he's doing bad things, and he's doing them for kind of selfish and not great reasons, but his underlying intentions underneath that are, like, he seems to be a generally good guy, and I feel like that kind of fails to hit the mark, because it would have hit a little better if it was just a corporation trying to exploit something beyond their control for the sake of it, just because that's kind of what they do in real life, because they want all of the money all of the time. Because these days, the purpose of a large corporation's existence is solely to generate infinity money. And they will do it by any means necessary, and that's why we have man-made earthquakes in Texas. So, joy! And, like, but, like, I feel like they didn't want to tackle the, like, unethical corporation angle of that, even though it's a really cool story idea. Because I imagine there might have been some degree of guilt. Because the Pokemon Company's starting to look like that from this vantage point. They're starting to look like the heartless, soulless corporation that does anything it wants for infinity money, including destroying important things that got them there, such as the integrity of the Pokemon franchise. Like, I still enjoy this game, but it was rushed. It was released kind of unfinished. Like, it's poorly optimized, it runs like trash, the lighting is... there's a lot of graphical bugs and performance bugs that are, like, we need to stop. In short, I am not pre-ordering the next Pokemon game. I'm probably not gonna get it immediately on launch, either. I might... I don't know, though, because when they announce it... I I had one of the reasons why I decided to get this on launch is because it would be the first Pokemon game that came out during my hobby career as a streamer, and also I usually have a friend I split a double pack with, and we had decided to split a double pack, and I would have felt bad if I had just... We kind of already agreed on it, and yeah, so those kind of circumstances led me to go ahead and get Scarlet and Violet. And I don't regret this purchase. I'm having a good time. I like the video game. But I might... If they release something this year, I'm going to be... I don't know. It's too much. Too much. Although the next obvious step is DLC for Scarlet and Violet. And I do want to play that, because one, I already have a series going on for this game here, and the DLC has, like, vaguely been confirmed by leakers and just the general vibes of the whole thing to be about that unnamed disc Pokemon that we saw in the Violet book. I want to know what the fuck is up with the terrestrialization. I want to know what the fuck is up with Area Zero. They're tickling my brain, and I want it. I want to learn things about it. But, like, the next whole game, the next $60 cartridge that they're going to release that has Pokemon on it, I might want to, like, give it a bit. Like, maybe get it after its opening week is over or something. Oh, hi, Arl. I didn't notice you. I went on my... I went on my rant about Pokemon and I stopped looking at chat and didn't realize people there. It happens. The monitor light was getting to me, so I took off my glasses. One of these days I'll get blue light blockers. One of these days. I think I want to go to the actual eye doctor first. See, this is what I don't like about Terra raids. The real-time concept is interesting, but then you get long stretches of time where you just have to sit there and do nothing while everything else loads around you, and, like, everyone else does all their things, and it's fine when that inevitably results in victory, but there have been times where I've had to sit around and I couldn't click the buttons to select my attack. And it would eventually just result in me getting attacked 3 times in a row. Because that's just how it loaded. Ooh, a salty herba mystica. Don't mind if I do. I wonder if that's sea salt. Just combed my fingers through my hair. A hair fell out, and it has a split end. And I am mildly intrigued by it, and I'm not entirely sure why I'm intrigued by it, but I am. Because I don't really usually notice my own split ends. I want to try going after more raids on my own map. Why the fuck not? Right? Let's see if we can find any more 5-star raids just around. Pikachu. Oh! Step. Here we go. No, I've always liked Dragonair a little better than Dragonite. I like the blue noodle with the wings on its head. It's cute and I like it. Some mass outbreak of Dratini. Is it worth a dragon sandwich? How many more fire raids are there? I did that one. There are a couple more. Let's do a fire sandwich. I'll do a fire sandwich. Yes, redecorate. Tablecloth. Mint. It's plain, but it's cute. Ah, my eyes! It's also very bright. Raid power ghost. We've already done ghosts. Raid power psychic level 2. Ooh, the ultra smoky sandwich. I'll have to keep that in mind. Raid psychic level 2. Dragon 2, but that's a master sandwich. Water. Electric. Raid power steel. Oh yeah, raid power dark. Ultra fried fillet. Rock. Rock. Is there a recipe for raid power fire? There's normal. That's the sandwich. It's a peanut butter sandwich. Fuck it, I'll go for the dark, I guess. That's it. Ultra hefty. A vegetable. Who is a cloth claw? Touching power. Which was it? Psychic level 2, smoky sandwich. Ultra fried filet, give me raid power dark. There are a couple dark raids out and about. I can do that. I can do that. Oh my god, I forgot the nothing sandwich! I want to do a couple dark raids and then I'm gonna make a nothing sandwich. I'm so sorry. I forgot the sandwich! Let's see how shit this sandwich is. Actually, surprisingly, not that bad. But I'm not going to risk the top bun, because it's barely holding together as is. That's just a regular old potato salad, and I'm okay with that. It's also got a little Pikachu face in it. Okay, so if that's dark, then I can bring these hands up top and fly to the nearest dark raid. Speaking of which, I just have to fly back to town. How easy is that? Object berries alone. I can punch this cat's face in, no problem. Have you ever been to the Kirby Wiki, the page where you can talk to people on it? It has a whole community. Like, the Wikia Wiki or Wik Kirby? Because those are two different places. And the Wikia Wiki is a desolate wasteland that we do not talk about. Also, every wiki has a talk page. You can just talk to people there. Although a wiki is not my platform of choice for making friends or just having discussions. I saw my arm flicker. You can't trick me. I know your sins, Game Freak. Ah. Ah. Ooh, a 5-star. Great. Come one, come all. Slay this dragon with me. Grace, you're the last one. Get y'all juice. Hello? Are you there? There we go. Alright, belly drum and then drain punch. Ow! Luckily, my electric type lets me resist flying type moves, so I only take neutral damage. Hell yeah! That's what we like to see. Tend to find yourself in dead communities. Yeah, that's fair. I no longer actively seek out, public communities surrounding Kirby. I've had a number of experiences. Some bad, some good, some and I have curated a small selection of friends that I can talk to about it, and if anyone, like, outside of that small selection likes to look at my shit that's related to Kirby, that is also cool. But there are things out there that I would rather not deal with, and it's one thing to find yourself in dead communities, because communities die all the time. And God, that just reminds me of Kirby's Rainbow Resort. Now I'm sad. I miss KRR. I never even really got the chance to be a part of that, but you know how it is. Sometimes shit is before your time. But, every other community that I've seen active around it just feels like a ticking time bomb. And the vibes are not quite right for me. And so I either stay away or leave the ones that I have entered. Dragonites defeated! Okay, goodbye. You may leave. I let you live. I just want your stuff. I just want to raid your dragon's horde. Thank you for the candy and the star pieces. I got 22 minutes left on that. Let's see if I can get every... I should be able to get every dark raid on the map well within that time limit. To be fair, combining Elfilin with food, you can't really go wrong with that. No amount of fandom toxicity or people being weird can ruin the fact that Elfilin looks cute when you combine him with baked goods. In this house we stand Mufflin. Load! Damn it! It's just blank white screen for like 3 seconds. Fix the video game, please. I wonder if the fixed seed bug is still active in the battle stadium, or if they finally fixed that. Because if it's not, I might pop in there and decide to be really... I might teach Qianpao Sheer Cold and just be the worst. Phalanx is adorable, I like it. I think it's very cute that, so the facets in the walls will always reflect the Pokemon you're fighting in the raid. And look at how small Phalanx is. He's so small that his entire body fits inside the... You see all 6 of them. Is it 6 or is it 5? I think it's 6. But you see all of them inside the facet. It's not, like, cropped out like a reflection. It's just the whole thing. I do not need another Phalanx at this time. Oh, sweet, you got a little drawing contest idea already. That's always fun, when you, like, offer up an idea, but you're not a great artist, so it's like, I have a cute idea. Please help. And someone responds, because your idea is cute. It's always fun to have a little bit of collaboration. And I know I talk a lot of smack about the Kirby wiki. It's, Did I really beat all of the Dark Raids already? I don't actually know anything about how the community is on there. I've had experiences in other places that were toxic, and the fandom wiki, like the site fandom, not just like the general concept of fandom. The wiki is kind of notorious amongst me and my friends for being up to its tits in complete bullshit. So, and I get really wacky. I'm a stickler. I'm a stickler about Kirby canon, as dumb as it is. And I guess I imagine there's, like, the Kirby fandom skews young for obvious reasons. God, it's been wild seeing some people, like, draw conclusions. Like, a friend showed me a screenshot of someone saying, like, wow, is DDD just buff permanently after, what is that brain? My brain stopped working. Is DDD buff permanently after getting brainwashed in Forgotten Land? Because it immediately... Because, like, there's, like, so many layers wrong with that statement, because possession does not make DDD buff. That only ever happened in Star Allies. The design you see in Forgotten Land is from Kirby 64, and there are a lot of ways to rationalize it. It's really just a design change. And as far as I'm concerned, that design's use in the concept of Return to Dreamland is not canon. DDD looks like he did during the original release of Return to Dreamland. The design change makes, like, canon feel a little wonky, because I had come up with like an explanation for that, for his design changes within the story, that he was just, like, gaining and losing weight occasionally for whatever reason. But I'm not gonna have the same events play out twice in the timeline, because I'm not really incorporating time travel that much. I feel like that's like, maybe in an alternate universe, DDD didn't lose that much weight between 64 and Return of Dreamland, and maybe, like, he is as chunky as the remake version. But, that is not the timeline I usually work in. And, it also reveals that, like, it's also, like, the idea of, like, the whole continuity thing, going into Return to Dreamland Deluxe right after Forgotten Land, and just assuming it comes next, canonically, when it is a remake. And that's a really specific example. But there are countless examples of that across the fandom that just, like, I don't think they grind my gears, because I don't actually care that much. It's just kids being kids and coming into the fandom later than I did. But, there's also the issue with Pokémon remakes. Like, the Pokémon remakes are, like, there are enough changes in the remake that, like, you could make it, like, and also the multiverse is canon in Pokemon. Like, it's very thoroughly, obviously canon. It's been thoroughly canonized as of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And even further cemented in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So it's easier to see a remake as that, and also it's like one of the developers released a timeline that tried to bring in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but those are like the same events as Ruby and Sapphire, but like changed slightly. So the idea that they come after X and Y instead of at the same time as Generation 1, like everyone assumes, is a little... Pokemon timeline is weird. Fandoms for Nintendo games tend to overlap. So if you have someone who's a Pokemon fan, they could also be a Zelda fan, or a Kirby fan, or a Mario fan. And these games don't really have cohesive timelines. Zelda had a cohesive timeline, but, like, that was after 2 decades of theorizing. Nintendo just decided to canonize it. And then they just kind of... I'm not really sure. With Breath of the Wild, they just kind of started ignoring it again. But, like, I've seen enough things, like, across the fandom where, like, you can tell someone is a new Kirby fan by how they react to certain things in the lore. It's interesting. Like, the example I gave kind of instantly shows that that person's first Kirby game was Star Allies, and that they never went back to examine the previous stuff. Which is interesting. It's almost kind of alien to me, because my, like, first real Kirby game, like, sticking my fingers into the lore, like, going full fandom brain about it, my first Kirby game ever was 64, when I was, like, that was before I was a sentient human being. Like, I was a nematode at that time. But when my first full fandom brain interaction with Kirby was in Kirby Superstar Ultra. But then I turned, they did release the 20th anniversary Dream Collection. And that has Dreamland, Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3, Superstar, and 64 all on a single Wii disc. And so that's a whole thing in and of itself. You recently explained the Planet Robobot lore to another streamer. Yeah, Planet Robobot's, like... Robobot doesn't hit as hard unless you have played at least one variant of Superstar. Either Superstar, the original, or Superstar Ultra. I went full fandom brain over Superstar Ultra, and then I really dug in with Kirby's Return to Dreamland, so Return to Dreamland is very special to me. Excuse me. And I'm not sure how prepared I am to see people say, like, either not very incisive. Like, people are gonna say things about Return to Dreamland and its story and stuff that are extremely obvious. Not very, like, kind of surface level analysis. So, it's either going to be obvious, shallow, or, like, Complete bullshit. Obvious, because the game has been out for over 10 years, and there will be people who say things and think they've realized something special, but people have been realizing these things since the first game came out, and they were just making those realizations because they were just playing the game for the first time. I would encourage any newcomer to any fandom to go back and look at the classics. If not play them outright, then at least, like, watch a playthrough. Just so you can experience that shit. Your first Kirby game was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Oh boy, you are very green. You are very fresh. Hello, little baby. I must super glue the baby back to his big size. Okay, that's enough Monster Hunter. That's enough Monster Factory. Monster Hunter? What am I must be getting sleepy because I am making very stupid word mistakes. I do intend to do some playthroughs of some older Kirby games on this channel at some point. As many older Kirby games as I have available to me, in fact. Not sure if I'll do them in order or not. Probably not. I started with Forgotten Land, and that was just... I did that because it was recent, and I did a recent one because it... For clout! For clout! To get eyeballs on my channel! Because it was a new video game. And people were interested in it. And, one of these days I'll rope y'all into a playthrough of some weird old shit. But, yeah, I have a bunch of Kirby games to play through, and I would love, at some point, to do a live stream where I just go the fuck off about Kirby lore, what is and isn't canon, what is dubious, what is debated, what is, dubiously canon, stuff that is implied but not confirmed, because there's a lot of people that, there's a lot of things out there in the lore of Kirby that people assume are hard and fast when they are very much not. People, like, there are different phases of being a Kirby fan, and, like, there's, like, being right at the very tippy top, you're kind of a newbie to a whole thing, and it's just a cute little guy. You like the cute little guy. You got Kirby Superstar on the Nintendo Switch Online, and then I binged everything Kirby, and now you're a master. See, that's one way to go about it. And also, yeah, Nintendo Switch Online making a handful of titles readily available is nice. Superstar is really an excellent place to start. It's one of the old school Sakurai games. It's not super in-depth. Superstar Ultra is, like, that tickled my brain and, like, got me into the lore of it, because it's a remake of one of the classic Sakurai games and keeps a lot of that intact, but it was also Shinya Kumazaki's first game, and he's the guy who has directed all of the Kirby games from starting in Superstar Ultra. Like, he's started directing stuff from Return to Dreamland all the way through Star Allies. Those are his babies. And so he's the one who has... He's the one with the lore brain. He's the big brain lore guy. Big, maybe not necessarily wrinkly. Maybe a little big and a little smooth. Because a lot of stuff is vague on purpose and not very well explained, and even translated even worse, and it's a mess. It's a mess. So much stuff doesn't make it through to English, and because of that, like, ever since the start, ever since I've been involved in the fandom in, like, I can't remember if it wasn't until 2012, 2013 that I started being on the internet and interacting with it in earnest, and that was after the release of Return to Dreamland. And because of that, Return to Dreamland, I mean, like that was out, and, like, Lore Brain was up, but, like, even before, I've been observing things on the internet before I was, interacting with it proper and, like, existing. And there was a whole bunch of shit out there. Like, constant, like, crackpot misinformation and complete nonsense that people just assumed was in the Japanese version, and nobody really questioned it, because nobody really knew Japanese. The Japanese internet and the Anglophone internet were a lot more split up back in, like, the 2008 to 2012 range. And, like, one of them was, like, so back in the day, Dark Matter and the character Zero were super popular purely for edgelord purposes. But, like, one of the favorite crackpot theory things that the fandom loved to do was to assume that Zero was behind everything, and that every entity is related to Dark Matter in some way, and if you insist that they are, I will slowly tear out your fingernails. Like, one of the crackpot bullshit things was that there was some secret, thing in the Japanese version of Canvas Curse that had implied that Drossia had made a pact with Zero somehow to get her powers. And, as it turns out, complete bullshit. Like, nobody even knows where it came from. I think the assumption right now is that it came from a Japanese fan comic, and it got telephoned into people assuming it was canon somehow. That shit... Like... And that's... It still happens a bit, but now I feel like there are enough of us old heads. I don't know how I feel about calling myself an old head, because there are a number of people who are just a little bit older than me in this fandom who are, like, know just a little bit more about it, and, like, who were there for shit, and so know the history a little bit better. But, some stuff about Star Allies also got, wacky. And that, like, people started assuming things about the Japanese translation of Star Allies, and that's because the translation of Star Allies was kind of butchered. So people started seeing things that were left out, seeing things that were translated differently, seeing things that had different implications between the different localizations, and people started wildly speculating, and it was kind of like 2010 again, in that regards. And now there aren't as many, like, centralized... I mean, I guess there never really was. But, like... the hyper-centralization of the entire internet on social media has definitely made places like wikis harder to flourish. Or, like, I will never forgive Wikia for what they did to... I'll never... whatever the fuck that was. Like... That site is a mess. Every single fan wiki on that site, as far as I'm concerned, is, like, not worth it. And then they bought Gamepedia, and they got involved with, like, independent... and that, like, bought out a bunch of independent wikis. And so now Zelda Wiki is moving back to being an independent wiki. Thank God. Niwa is the only source I trust anymore. Big Niwa stan here. Kirby wasn't actually a very reliable source for a long time because it was so dead. Like, there was nobody there. But it's picked up in recent years. People have started giving it a little more love, and I appreciate that. There was actually a forum. So, like, KRR, Kirby's Rainbow Resort, kind of floundered and petered out. Something about, site registration. Something about site registration. Something about, forum moderation. Like, the ability to interact with it as a community space kind of died. And it doesn't really get updated by the mods with their articles as much anymore either. So, in the wake of that, there were a number of, like, spin-offs and fan forums and stuff, and one of the fan forums was called The Kirby Club, and I joined that a while back, and then it closed, and was kinda sorta someone replaced it with one of their own versions called the Methanito forums, and I didn't really participate that much, but it was everyone I still knew from the Kirby Club, and I actually drew the banner for it, and then it shut down. So that was interesting. But, like, some of the people I knew from those forums actually went on to become, like, the new caretakers of Wick Kirby, which that's pretty neat to me. I think it's neat that I have that little chunk of, even if I'm only, like, tangentially there, like, I'm not super involved, kinda neat that I, like, got to see that happen, and, like, I can point to a few people on Wick Kirby and go, hey, I know you! I've seen you around, how you doing? I haven't contributed anything to it. I'm a fanfiction author, what can I say? I don't spend as much time finding the information for other people. I go to the people that find that information, take the information, and I fill in the gaps to tell derivative stories. Cause so, like, my whole shtick is that I like to be at least a little bit canon compliant, that I was, like, a huge stickler for canon compliance when I was, like, 14. And I've kind of eased off of it, mostly because I feel like, canon has outpaced my ability to keep up with my own projects. And I feel like I've incorporated the new fits and starts of canon here and there pretty well. But, there are some things that I've developed over the years that I am now very attached to, that are not strictly upheld by what is canon nowadays. Because back when I made those details were never even really addressed. And so I kind of had to work around it, and it gets a little shoehorny in there. Like, it's not strictly absolutely canon compliant all the time. But I try to keep, like, a loose compliance. Like, you could see this being a version that could hook into canon maybe 10 years ago. Which is accurate, because I really got started 10 years ago. Can't keep up with the Star Allies lore. Nobody can keep up with the Star Allies lore! Nobody can keep up. The people who made the lore cannot keep up with the lore. Shinya Kumazaki himself cannot keep up with the Star Allies lore. Literally, Kumazaki started talking and, like, I've heard stuff. I know, I'm perpetuating the thing I complain about in Kirby fandom, which is hearsay and telephone stuff. I've heard that Kumazaki would just start saying shit about the lore, and the other developers would just go, okay, what was that? Because, like, it was just kind of that off the wall, and I respect that. The shit I got up to, in my own, like, fan stories, yeah, I was also off the wall with that shit, and I respect Kumazaki for also being off the wall, and it was pretty fun being vindicated, by having I was about to say, it was kind of vindicating, seeing some of the stuff come to coherent fruition. There is no coherent fruition in Star Allies. That was a poor choice of words. I don't know. I'm just on ramble mode at this point. I don't even know where I'm going with this conversation. What's the point I was trying to make? The point! What is the point? The point is that Kirby lore isn't as deep as everyone thinks it is. And that's because it's less... like, it's convoluted, sure. And there is more depth than you would expect, but it's not immediately Dark Souls tier depth. Like, the writers are also flying by their seat of their pants a little bit, too. Forgotten Land was a lot more cohesive. They kept that locked down. What's interesting about Forgotten Land is that you can draw connections to outside lore from previous games, but it's very self-contained, and those connections do not necessarily need to be held. Do I want to do another raid? I'm gonna do this poison raid, I guess, maybe. I'm gonna do this fire raid. Main Kirby guys have massive billboards on their walls, tying everything together with red yarn. I would love to have a Kirby conspiracy board someday. If not physical, then at least an approximation of one. Maybe style it after the cork boards from Kirby Superstar. Shit, if I ever go ahead with that, like, lore rant stream idea that I referenced, I'd love to have a little digital conspiracy board with it. Because I love looking like that fucking clip of the guy from that Pepe Sylvia bit. Is that from The Office? I don't watch the show, I just know the meme. And the way my headcanon gets around the canon is its own level of conspiracy bordery. Because I would need to have multiple colors of string. I would need to have shit that was, like, definitively canon, dubiously canon, maybe not dubious, definitively canon, implied by canon, and then shit that I made up whole cloth. And that's why I like to be as forward as I can with the fact that some of the stuff, the source is that I made it the fuck up. Because that's part of writing headcanons and fanfictions. Like, it's a step beyond fan theories. Fan theories are when you're working with existing content. What type is this dragon? You're working with existing content to draw connections that weren't there before. Whereas with headcanons, you are, like, synthesizing it with your own input to make something totally new. It's like taking, like, I want to make a food analogy for this. The food analogy I was going for, like, the idea that sprang to mind was, like, you have pancake mix. It is a box of pancake mix. Fan theories, I don't know the fan theory equivalent in this case. But in my mind, the headcanon version is taking this pancake mix and, like, adding your own blueberries or chocolate chips to it. That was not in the original. You are adding it for your own purposes. And the products of both are, like, they both taste good. But, fan theory is, like, following the pancake mix to the letter. Maybe following one of those little recipes on the box that, like, switches up the ingredients. Like, maybe try using milk instead of water, and they do that. Or they, like, do mining. Like, the analogy doesn't work. It doesn't fit. What's another good analogy I can come up with? analogies for headcanon versus fan theory. My brain is rotting out of my skull. Why can't I think of anything good for this? There's a 2-hour video on Bloons Tower Defense has lore? Excuse me. I mean, I suppose that's how a lot of people react to Kirby lore. Like, the fuck? The Pink Ball game has lore? Yes, the Pink Ball game does have lore. Bloons does, they do have the whole superhero thing, and they have, like, expanded on it game after game. So I imagine there is a 2-hour video. I have a fanfiction that the remains of dark matter are assembling to make an army to take home Kirby once for all. I doubt it will happen, but it would be awesome. See, I also doubt it will happen because that story is over in canon. And one of the big points of fanfiction is to make the things that you think would be cool to see, that you know for a fact the developers will never make. Or you use it to tell your own story. Which is basically the same thing, right? I don't fucking know. Brain juices. Brain juice at critical levels. Like, I doubt it will ever happen is something I got over a while ago. Because some of the things you want to write shouldn't necessarily happen, but you should be, like, still be allowed to write about it. That's what, like, goofy crossovers are for. That's what, like, grimdark reimaginings are for. Like, I was gonna say mine leans kinda grimdark, but no, it's just serious. It just takes Kirby a little too seriously. Maybe not too seriously. You can never take Kirby too seriously. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time taking things too seriously. But the idea I was having is that, like, sort of extrapolating the events of the game into, like, out of, like, that more kids game vibe and into, like, a more, like, realistic version of those feelings and emotions. Like, how would people react? And there's a reason a lot of this stuff is stripped down than, like, a lot of this stuff that just doesn't go into canon, because a lot of the times that's just too much work for the project they're doing. They're making a video game. They're not writing an epic. Like, this isn't Elden Ring. They didn't hire George R.R. Martin to write their lore for them. And it's good and okay to leave some questions unanswered in your original stories, because maybe those weird details aren't necessarily what your story has to be about. And that's the beauty of fanfiction. You can take those gaps and fill them in yourself. It's like a coloring book. It's great. And of course, the people who make the stories benefit from it because it's free advertising and awareness of the brand. That's another thing. Another reason why Star Allies was so off the wall, and why even some of the developers allegedly had some issues understanding it, and why it was translated poorly, was because they're, like, Kumazaki had more ideas for the lore than he could fit into a video game. So there's a whole bunch of background information that just flat out isn't in the game. That it's in, like, supplemental materials, it's in, interviews. A lot of it is in interviews. And the devs like to be coy about it. They like to say, ooh, what if it is this? I wonder what it could be. And, like, that's like a way to, like, not make the decision. I wanted this. But also, like, they don't have to. There are some times when they should. Like, I think they should have been a little more clear on whether or not Franziska and Flamberger are actual sisters or not. But I feel like that ship has sailed, unfortunately, and we will just never have that answer, because they will continue to be vague about it until the end of time. And they will always, like, they always be weird and vague about shit. And yeah, that's just one of the things about Kirby lore that's frustrating. The devs are weird and vague about shit. The games are weird and vague about shit. We're weird and vague about shit to everyone else in the fandom. I want the Odyssey story to Kirby. Why can't Garchomp learn D-Dance? I don't know. You'd think it would, but I think it's a less graceful sort of dragon and more of a... Like, it's a shark. It's a land shark. So, like... mechanically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Garchomp to not learn Dragon Dance, but to me it makes aesthetic sense, and I don't really know how to put it into words beyond that. Garchomp overall does not strike me as much of a dancer as some other dragons do. Especially the noodlier ones. I feel like the noodlier ones can get away with Dragon Dance a little better. Or the ones that are related to noodly ones, like Dragonite. Or maybe they decide, maybe it's a balancing issue. Maybe they decided Garchomp would be too busted with Dragon Dance. Because Dragon Dance can often be a meta-defining move. I can't remember if Chomp was one of the dragons that was, like, dominating VGC back in the Mega Evolution days. I know Kangaskhan absolutely was. Mega Kang, Mega Charizard. I think Base Chomp was more popular than Mega Chomp. Because Base Chomp is faster. Like, Mega Chomp trades some of its speed for attack power. But people like how fast Chomp, the regular Chomp, can go. And I think because Chomp is so fast, that might be an influencing reason why it cannot learn Dragon Dance. Because Dragon Dance also boosts your speed! And also plenty of fast Pokemon learn shit like Agility all the time, but D-Dance does double duty as an attack booster and a speed booster. It's been one of those days. We'll never know how Magolor survived the crown incident. Yeah, that's just kind of left as, like, a metaphorical thing. Maybe not a metaphorical thing. He did literally survive. And, there were a couple interviews saying that, like, yeah, we wanted to show Magolor, like, absolved of his sins. And that's why he has that little the little cutscene after the boss fight where the crown shatters and he disappears. I've seen a lot of different interpretations. I've seen people say that he does die, and he just manages to make it back, because it wouldn't be the first time that a Kirby character has died and come back to life. Like, I think it's reasonable to assume that, for example, Marx could not have survived the Nova explosion. And, like, he had to come back somehow. And there are so many different headcanons and fan theories and fan fictions that offer potential explanations. I do have a potential explanation, but it's also, like, it can't be explained out of context. Everything in my headcanon fanfiction universe is context for everything else. And I can't explain how Magolor survives without explaining the entire... I have, like, this whole side thing about this place called the Cloud Realms and the Seraphim that live there, and how 3 major canonical villains are sibling Seraphim from a single nest up there, and that's, like, this whole... Like, I made up most of it. Like, it's loosely aesthetically based on Kirby shit, but, and, like, it ties a lot of Kirby shit together, but it is very much an extra ingredient that I added myself. And I would have to launch into a whole backstory about all of that, because, the Cloud Realms is a thing that I tied together the angels, I tie together the Fountain of Dreams. It ties into another dimension, because it's built into, like, the overall cosmology of the universe. And, it's a whole thing. And whenever something is a whole thing in someone's fanfictions or headcanons, that means it's going to require an essay-length explanation, and my voice is starting to go. Yeah, I think I might call it quits after this raid, because I'm just getting tired, and I did like launching into this, like, I don't even know how long I've been ranting about Kirby. An hour? Maybe an hour? Maybe half an hour? You think he got sucked into a different dimension, the Starcutter took pity on him and saved him or something? Yes. That is a good, yeah, that is one of many possible interpretations, and that's, yeah, it tracks. Because the Starcutter had to get back to him. Also, yes. Nothing sandwich. We're gonna finish this with the nothing sandwich. You can't make a nothing sandwich. Okay, so you can only put the one thing on a nothing sandwich. I'm pressing the plus button. You cannot... you have to do one ingredient and one condiment, alas. What is the most boring thing we can put on a piece of bread? There's lettuce. There's cheese. Cheese like a cheese sandwich. There already is a cheese sandwich, but like rice is like, that's just more rice, noodles, that's just more grain. One leaf, yes, specifically basil because it's tiny. And then butter because it's basic. Blue flag. I'm going to... Wait a second, can I just drop all of them? Nothing sandwich. Nothing sandwich. Nothing sandwich. Buttered toast! It's just butter. It's just butter. I gotta see the reaction to this. What is it? It's just butter. He's like, yeah, it's alright. It's fine. You can't really go wrong. 2 stars for butter, egg power, raid power. I guess raid power ghost might be from the salty and the sweet, I guess. Well, lads, with the nothing butter sandwich, I think I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Thank you for listening to my insane ramblings about Kirby. Thank you for watching me raid. Thank you for giving me sandwich suggestions. It was very fun. It was very silly. I like a fun, silly sandwich. I will be shaking up my schedule a little bit for the next month or so. So, Monday streams will now be VIP, secret special art streams for an announcement trailer that I will inevitably, I don't know. I want to release it. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'll see you on Friday with as much Bayonetta 3, as much Bayonetta 2 as I can fit into that time slot. Good night, everybody.